Welcome, Leo and Leo Cross Watchers, to your singles love reading for February 2023. So thanks for stopping by my channel today. I hope you guys have had a great day. Whoops. Well, we were going to get one card for where you are, where you're headed, and then what you need to know or what's being hidden from you, but I guess we're going to have more than one. So we have the Queen of Swords, the Seven of Swords reversed. Ooh. With the Three of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. Leo, I'm really getting here that you've overcome something. And I feel like whatever it is that you had to kind of overcome here, it's almost like you're looking back at the people that did it like, see, you can't beat me. And I know that there's a lot of attitude coming with that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's there, right? It's just this like almost feeling like you proved somebody wrong. I feel like there's something here that you've done that you're really proud of. And I feel like you did it in spite of a lot of things. You know what I mean? It's like the tide had turned against you and you pushed forward anyway. I think it's almost this energy of like, people acted like you weren't, that you weren't all that, and you turned around and you showed them very, very different. What's interesting here actually is I feel like to whoever you're kind of presenting that energy to, you actually, it's like they kind of can't help but admit that you've become masterful about something. And what I absolutely adore about your energy is that you may be kind of like, having that attitude with the people that tried to hold you back, but you seem to be turning towards your future with this really humble attitude with this Page of Pentacles, right? This is the energy of someone that's kind of ready to start, can I help you with that? Can I do that for you? And I feel like it's like you finish proving these people wrong and then you turn around and it's like, you don't actually have a big head, right? It's not like you're sitting there acting like you know everything. It's like you're just turning around and being like, see, I told you I could do it. And then with the Three of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, I feel to a certain extent that there may have been I feel, this may not resonate for everybody, that some of those people that you are kind of like, see, I proved you wrong sort of thing, I feel like they are not really paying attention. And it doesn't feel like it's, they're not paying attention because they don't want to see it. I feel like they genuinely don't see it. And what kind of speaks to your character really is that you're not going to stand there and jump around and be like, hey, look what I did over here. I feel like you kind of turn around with this triumphant, like, see? And when nobody sees it, you're like, forget it. Who cares anyway? And then you turn around and you keep doing your thing anyway. Because it's almost like you have the energy of, if people don't see it now, well, I'm going to keep building it and they're going to turn around and see it's bigger. And again, it's not because you need them to anything about what you're doing. It's just like a little bit of a feather in your cap, really. So we're going to get a card for, where you're headed, what's being hidden from you. And then from this deck, we're going to get the next love interest, good or bad, for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. And then that will be timestamped in the description box below. So where's Leo headed? The Four of Wands. So there's a lot of actually, I almost want to say like electricity coming through this card. I almost want to say that it's like you're going to be in awe of something here. It's almost like here you're, for example, let's say you're working for an opportunity fully like expecting that there's going to be an opportunity, and I feel like it ends up being, I almost want to say it ends up being a much bigger opportunity than you originally perceived it as. And I feel like there may be a couple of things that you have to kind of either let go of or, get rid of. But those things, it's like they pale in comparison. So these are the wands here, and I can kind of see you going towards this new beginning, and it's like you're just tearing like, oh no, it doesn't even matter, because I feel like you've already torn down the wall that was blocking this opportunity. It's like just the last little bit that you have to get out of the way so you can walk through it. Can we get clarifier? Nope. This is just my own personal sort of thing. Whenever it says the moon, it's almost like the tarot saying like, no, we're not going to give you an answer right now. Not always, but anyway. So I wanted to get kind of the positive and negative attributes about this. So I feel like the challenging attributes here, it almost feels like you may have some concerns that someone's going to try to take it from you. It feels like you might even keep it very secretive. It's like it's easier to protect something if people don't even know it's there, right? And I kind of feel like you seem to be concerned that it's almost like you're concerned that people are going to be able to catch that there's a difference, like in your behavior or how you're doing things, or it's like maybe your daily routine or something. It's almost like, obviously it won't be the situation for everyone. It's almost like you've bought a dog. And so like you're buying dog food, you're going out at night to, walk the dog or whatever. And it's like some of your habits, obviously if you're out walking a dog, people know you have a dog, but you know what I mean. So there's some habits that you have that aren't kind of making sense. And I feel like what I'm picking up anyway, is that I feel like people may not be as perceptive as you think. You know what I mean? It's like you might go through the grocery store with dog food in your thing and kind of thinking that someone might notice, if you're next to a neighbor or something like that. And I don't actually, it's like they might see it, but it doesn't seem to register that like, wait a second, why are they buying dog food if they have no dog? I also feel, Leo, I feel like you've had something stolen from you before. You know what I mean? I feel like you had an opportunity, or you had something you were really excited about. And I feel like it was taken from you before. And there's a message here that it's like you're wiser than you were at that time. And I feel like you seem to know, I feel like you know where you went wrong. And there may be a couple of things that you aren't like fully consciously aware of, but your subconscious is going to kick in. I almost want to say, because it's like, how sometimes our subconscious can sabotage our efforts, right? Because it's that knee-jerk reaction. It actually feels like your whole self kind of wants this, if that makes sense. I feel like this is what's really interesting about this moon card, is what's positive here. I feel like you are enjoying not quite knowing how this is going to work out. You know what I mean? It's like part of the enjoyment here is the mystery of how good it can get. And I feel like it does feel a little bit like after this situation where, maybe more than one person was not cheering for you, you actually seem to feel, it's not like, invincible sort of thing, but you're definitely feeling really strong, really powerful. It's like the impulsive energy that may have gotten, and I'm not saying that it did get you into trouble, but that may have kind of rushed things sooner than they were ready. I feel like that's an energy that you have a really good control over. And it's almost like it's not even an issue for you. Because I feel like you're able to see, you know how they say, like, oh, you should strike while the iron is hot? I feel like it's almost like you'll wait until the iron is as hot as it can possibly get, and then you're going to strike, right? It just feels very, I want to say, like, almost diabolical, but it's not with the negative connotation. So I guess strategic would probably be a better word. We're just going to pull a card on this Hanged Man here. So, okay. I feel that somebody seems to feel like you have surpassed them, and maybe they were jealous for a time, or they were kind of, bitter and resentful that you surpassed them. But I feel like it's almost like they seem to want a piece of what you have. However, it doesn't actually feel like they want to take it from you. It's more like they want to learn from you. But it does feel like this person's energy, it may be the same person. I'm feeling for some of you, it may be somebody that you're familiar with that kind of sabotaged you. It's like now they're coming back and they want your guidance, or like they want to learn from you. And I mean, of course, your situation, everyone's situation is different, and you can make your own again. And everyone can make their own choices. I feel to a certain extent, it's almost like there's a question that they're going to ask that I feel like it's almost like you automatically answer it. Look at that, the Queen of Wands twice. Ooh. I feel if this person is a previous romantic interest, it's almost like they know that if they come in with that romantic physical chemistry sort of energy, that you're going to shut it down. You know what I mean? It's like no ifs, ands, or buts. There's the Eight of Cups. So it's almost like there does seem to be this person here that it's almost like part of them wants to take it from you if they can, but the other part of them, it's almost like they don't have the heart to do it. It's almost like they feel they would gain more by learning from you than from taking something from you. I mean, it doesn't really feel like, this is just my own kind of personal opinion. That's just a strange energy to be in. You know what I mean? It's still very self-serving. So however you choose to proceed with that situation, I feel like you're going to trust yourself. It does feel like you are very, very capable. I feel like the message here is what you're doing, kind of keeping things under wraps. Do that. Not that you need me to tell you to do what you're already doing, but I actually feel like that's going to, it just feels like it's going to make your life easier. I want to say, it's almost like there may be some pathways to get to your goal that you're using that it's like some people might not approve of, or they might judge you for. And not that it's dishonest or anything. It's just some people might not approve of how you're building your house. So I feel like you're just going to kind of do it. It feels like it's one of those things where you're going to build the wall, like one of the walls to your house. And while people may have kind of got involved and thrown their opinion at you, if you told them while you were building it, then that's one thing. But once it's already built, it's like, obviously there's no point in them saying it, but it also feels like people seem to be almost like surprised. I feel like they seem to develop a healthy respect for you if they didn't already, because you found a way on your own. And it feels like you might have found a way that's a little almost like inventive. You may have found a way to make the wall as sturdy as it normally would be, but with a different structure. So, what's hidden? What does Leo need to know? What's hidden? What does Leo need to know? Leo singles, what's hidden? So we have the Ace of Swords, which talks about with the Tower at the bottom of the deck. So, Leo, I feel like there is something that may seem almost like an obstacle. This might sound really strange, so just bear with me for a second. I feel like there's an obstacle that seems to present itself to you, but it's almost like you have if ever you played Super Mario Brothers back when the remotes were square, it feels like you seem to get a shortcut to Bowser's castle, and it's like, here's this kind of glowing opportunity, this glowing doorway, but I almost feel like you look at it, it feels like not yet. It's almost like, not that the opportunity doesn't register, but it feels like you have so much going on that it doesn't seem to be that important. It's almost like someone's like, hey, I got a shortcut over here. And you're like, yeah, just a second. What is this? Oh, look at this. Ace of Swords at the bottom. So we have the King of Wands reversed, which is like, oh no. So for me as a reader, the King of Wands reversed usually means somebody that is an opportunist. Somebody that it's like, they'll be your best friend when they need to be, but life is a big chess match for them, and it's like they'll sacrifice you to get ahead. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're going to see that somebody, I want to say, someone that you kind of already knew didn't have your best interests at heart. I feel like either you had an intuitive hit, or it's like they might have said something that made you be like, what? What is that? And it's almost like the longer that the time went between when they said it and now, it's like you kind of have been able to feel into something's definitely not right. And I feel like you may already see this betrayal kind of coming, and it feels like you seem to have a certain type of game plan. You may have to lose something in the short term, but I feel like you've already found a way to, it's like you found a way to flip it to your benefit, or to, it's like roll with the punches sort of deal. And I feel like it seems like a very small energy compared to yours. Apparently I can't pick up cards. Sorry, guys. It just feels like somebody comes in here and is betraying you, and you knew it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Like you kind of talking about the situation. I'm hearing you say like, yeah, I knew that. You know what I mean? And it's like you've already kind of made peace with it by the time it comes around, for real, or by the time it becomes made known to you. It almost feels like, obviously this won't be the situation, exact situation for everyone. I feel like how this was the shortcut to Bowser's castle. It's almost like that this person was leading you into the lion's den. And it's like it's almost like you were kind of a prized catch, if that makes sense. And it's like they were kind of sending you into this, deep, dark cave to almost like be a sacrifice, because there was something very special about you that they feel could have been, or not that they feel, but it's almost like it was requested. It's like they knew that it would get them in good with whoever is in the cave to do this. And it's also feels like they see it as, certainly hope it's not the case. But I feel like they see this situation as them doing this also proves to the people in the cave that they belong in the cave. That makes sense. But you're gonna feel it. I feel like you're gonna see it. Can we get one more? So we have the Knight of Pentacles as kind of a clarifier on this King of Wands. Can we get one more? Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles clarifying the King of Wands reversed, and the Two of Cups clarifying the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like this is somebody that, bear with me, they could have been a really good match, right? It's like if they were in the divine energy instead of the toxic energy, the two of you could have been a match. And so it's like, if they were in that divine energy, I feel like there's part of them that actually wants a real connection with you here, but and it does feel like it's like a feeling they can't get away from. You know what I mean? I feel like they were so focused on getting in with this, whatever's in the cave, that that I feel like they may have pushed this aside. Hold on. It just feels like they may have seen it as not as fulfilling as what they were working towards. So it's almost like they decided to set love aside and, build their pentacles sort of thing. So it's almost like instead of this person coming towards you as the King of Wands here, upright, they turned that down. Excuse me, it's almost like they turned that progression down. And I feel like now they have to start, feels like they kind of have to start from scratch here. Part of me feels like you may know a lot of this. I feel like we're going to pull one more card. I'm just wondering which deck to use. Sorry, 1 second, Leo. Yeah, one more card. So we have the Fool here. Leo, I feel like there's someone here that, obviously the Fool talks about a new beginning, right? But it's not the one, it's the zero. It's that moment before the leap of faith is taken. And it almost feels like something is getting started without you. I feel like either intuitively or maybe you cognitively know that something is starting without you, but it's like full well that it's like they can't get the ship ready without you. You know what I mean? It's like they can't leave the dock until you're there. You seem to be a vital part of whatever that operation is. And I feel to a certain extent that you may have, it's almost like it will feel like a new beginning. It will be like very gratifying and satisfying that you're there. There is a bit of a message that the like pure joy you would have felt, there does seem to be a bit of sadness mixed in there because of this situation. It doesn't feel like it robs you of your joy. It just feels like it's one of those things where you don't think about it when you're busy, and then in those quieter moments, it's like you kind of go back to that and be like, oh, almost like it really had the potential to be better. And not a like forlorn, you want to go back and change everything sort of thing. It's just, it's something that you're aware of. So can we get, who's the next love interest for Leo's sun? Leo's sun. Oh. So we have the Ten of Swords, which is a really interesting energy to, I'm trying to turn it the right way so you can see it, to represent a person. This talks about things getting as bad as they could possibly get. And it almost feels like I feel like this person, I'm getting a couple different messages, so if you guys don't mind just giving me a minute to sit with the card for a sec. I feel like there's something here that is over, like over, over. And I mean, this is supposed to be new love, so we might need to pull some more cards for you guys. But I just feel like there may have been something that it's almost like this person may have been hoping or wanting this to continue. I feel like it just feels like something's, almost like dead in the water. And I feel like that there's something that's holding that energy back. I feel like maybe you have put some blockages there. It's almost like you've put up a wall so that this energy can't come back at you. You know what I mean? And it's not, out of the goodness of their heart. It's because it would not benefit them to come back around. You know what I mean? It's like they would kind of have to eat some crow or craw or however you say that in order to come back. And I feel like that it's like that their pride is probably a bit too strong. So, new love, please. New love for new love. New love, next love interest. Okay. So we have the Two of Wands here with the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Let me ask you a question instead of telling you something. Do you even want a relationship right now? I feel to a certain extent that some of you are in this energy of like, you don't mind strutting your stuff, but I feel like and not in a, like, no, everybody look at me sort of thing. It's like you might kind of strut your stuff and then burst out laughing. You know what I mean? Because you're not taking yourself really seriously. And I feel here that you may have some people that are interested in you. I'm just not so sure that you're actually interested in giving your heart to anybody right now. And it doesn't feel like it's out of a place of brokenness because you've kind of have come back from a lot of this. So if you still are feeling really bad, there is a message here that you will be getting out of that. And I feel like when you're out of that and you're starting to feel like your powerful self again, I feel to a certain extent that you aren't really looking for, it's almost like it's nice to be noticed. But I feel like the people that approach you don't really take them as serious options. And that's not a statement on you or on them. It just feels like you just don't really see them as a serious option for you. It's almost the energy of like, for example, someone that you're really interested in, it's like they might only be in the country for another 6 months or maybe even a matter of weeks, right? And so it's like it's not worth it for you to get involved. It's that kind of a thing. Can I get a card for describing this person? This person here. There's 6 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And the Moon card reversed. You know what it feels like? I feel like you both are interested in each other, but neither of you is actually willing to kind of surrender to another person, to surrender to a relationship. It's almost like I can hear this person saying like, well, let me just take you out to dinner. Um, and it's like they kind of want to enjoy your company, and not, in just a physical chemistry sort of way. They seem to really want to enjoy your company. They really enjoy being around you. I feel like it's like you seem to be somebody that has a confidence that they haven't seen before. And that's not to say that, like, you have too much confidence or you're overconfident. It's just you seem to have a certain way of expressing or exuding that confidence that it's like they seem to be able to see. It's almost like you believe in yourself so well that when people are around you, it's like that energy is infectious. You know what I mean? It's if ever you've seen that meme where if people start hanging out with Leo long enough, they're going to start, they're going to mess around and start believing in themselves. It's that kind of an energy. It's almost like you have this indomitable will. And it feels like this person just kind of wants to be around you for however long they can. But I feel like if you don't want that, it definitely feels like this is the kind of person that's going to respect your no. So for those of you with your moon in Leo, next new love, moon in Leo. 10 of Wands with the moon, the bottom of the deck. I feel like actually this person is quite burdened. I feel like you might actually see how to... It's almost like you might be able to show this person a different way to carry all of these wands, or it's like to drag them behind them so that the load isn't as heavy. You know what I mean? Or it's like you have the capability to teach them how to build something out of it. It's almost like... I'm just going to grab this card here. I actually feel that it's somebody that you see struggling and you're like, oh, I see you struggling over there. I have some tools to help you. Let me show you how to do that a little bit easier. And I do feel that there is a soul tie. It feels like there is a connection there. It feels like you are quite protective of this person, but only to a certain extent. And because I feel like you see this person to a certain extent as capable of defending themselves. It's almost like if they're not there and somebody's like, oh, man, this 10 of Wands, and you're going to be like, well, do you really know what's going on with them or what? You know what I mean? And if people are like, well, I don't really know this, but I know this, and you're like, well, you don't know a lot of things, so stop talking. I feel like this person does have an attraction to you, that they are interested in you. I'm not really seeing this person as going to pursue anything with you right now. It's almost like they feel that pull, but they have so much that they have to sift through that I don't really see them even being able to kind of explore the feelings that they have. I think a clarifier here between Leo and this 10 of Wands, Leo moon. It almost feels like you kind of having this person's back to a certain extent, or being a bit protective of them. It's almost like that isn't something that they're used to experiencing. And it's almost like I want to say it's that energy of them not really wanting to ruin the connection, but that doesn't feel entirely right. It feels more that it's like, maybe this person is someone that isn't used to people helping them, that isn't used to people having their back, right? And so I feel like they have so much on their plate that it's almost like they're not looking at the situation like, oh, I must be in love with Leo, or I must have feelings for them. I feel like they may be chalking it up to more that energy of feeling like you're kind of one of the few or one of the first people to have their back. So I feel like they kind of ignore that and push it away. Um, I do feel like they obviously come to that awareness. Um, but it does feel, I'm going to be honest with you, this person doesn't feel good enough for you. They seem to feel like you are, it's almost like they're a peasant and you're, royalty. So it's like it would violate the, going back to medieval times, it's like it would violate the class system. You know what I mean? It's like they are interested in you, but they're not allowing themselves to explore it because from their perspective, is like they don't want to drag you down with them. And that doesn't mean this person is actually going down. I feel like they are on the path to pull themselves out of it. It just feels like they do have a lot of work ahead of them. And I feel like they seem to feel that it's better for them to do it on their own. It's almost like they feel they have to learn some sort of lesson, and it's like they kind of want to suffer a little bit. And let me explain that a little bit. It's not that they want to suffer because they want to suffer, if that makes sense. They want to suffer because they want the lesson from it, and it's almost like the energy of somebody that's looking at their life and being like, okay, I clearly didn't learn this lesson the first time, so now I'm going to do it the hard way. Now I'm going to do it where it's like step by step and it's arduous and I don't really want to do it this way, but I'm gonna, because I'm not going to learn this lesson again. So for those of you with a Leo rising, woo, oh my gosh. So we have the Eight of Wands with the Death card, and then we have the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. That's a lot of cards that indicate that stuff is changing. I feel like this person's going to have a really dark sense of humor, almost like a morbid sense of humor, and I feel like you really enjoy it. It's almost like they may make comments that it's like it flies under the radar with a lot of people, but you seem to really pick up on a lot of those. It's almost like this is the person, and I do feel like there's somebody that, you would be able to take to a formal whatever. But until you know that for sure, I feel like this is the kind of person that you're careful about where you bring them, because I feel like at first you're not entirely sure if they can behave themselves. And not that they're going to, wild out and get wild. I feel that it's more that they are a little subversive. I feel like, almost want to say, they seem to be the yin to your yang, or yang to your yin, however that would apply to you. And I feel like either one or both of you is going to be taken by surprise. I feel like it's taken a lot for this person to get to you. And it doesn't feel like this person knew that they were on their way to find you specifically. It just feels like they were kind of pushing ahead for something better for themselves. And they had to make a lot of sacrifices to get there. And I feel to a certain extent that it's like this person may say things that are a little subversive because they feel they've earned the right to have a voice. And I love your attitude here, because it's like this person would say something subversive and then somebody might be like, oh, well, that's inappropriate. And I feel like you would turn and look at them and be like, really? Because you know this person well enough that you know that they've done things that are inappropriate as well, right? So it's like you're not too impressed with people getting judgmental of this one. I do feel, of course, this will be up to you and this person, right? That depending on what each of you want, this may end up being a friendship. It's like it may have that initial physical attraction, that spark. But I feel like to a certain extent, because the two of you have the same approach about like freedom of speech sort of thing, that it's almost like that seems to kind of cause you guys to have a united front. And it's almost like the romance seems to take a way back seat for both of you. I am kind of getting, I'm just going to pull a card before I say anything. Five of Pentacles reversed. So the Five of Pentacles, as you may or may not know, talks about being left out in the cold. But when it's reversed, it's almost like the reason the connection between the two of you works is because you both are running from, or when I say running, it's like operating. It's like both of your systems are operating from a space of, you know, you can't hurt me. You know what I mean? And it's not the two of you thinking that the other person is going to hurt you. It's more that, if ever you've read that book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, it's that kind of an energy. And I feel like the two of you seem to be, almost have a little bit of like defiance. It's like if people tell you guys that you can't do something, I feel like both of you would look at each other and be like, did you hear this one? Did you hear them tell us that we can't? It's like, well, now we gotta. And I feel like the both of you seem to have that energy. I feel like the difference is that your delivery is quite a bit more refined. And I feel like this person, it's like they actually like being a little bit prickly, because I feel that this person actually kind of has a really good heart. They just act very prickly around most people. I want to say like, so people will leave them alone. But they really seem to feel that you understand them here. And I feel like it gets to a place where both of you actually really value the friendship. If it's, I mean, obviously you would value the friendship anyway. But I feel like if ever it was to move to a romantic connection, that it's one of those things where it's like, your person may be more, okay. Let me try that sentence again because it sucked. So I feel like because your delivery is a little bit better and you're not as prickly as this person, you don't seem to struggle with finding people to understand you because you're able to communicate well. Or it's like, because you choose to communicate well. This person doesn't. So they have a much harder time finding people that understand them. I mean, it may be because they choose to be prickly, but that's neither here nor there. And that's not me being judgmental. It's not meant to come across that way. I feel like this person enjoys who they are and how they go about things, but because it's so hard for them to find people, especially like you, that you don't just understand them, you enjoy their company. I feel like them being concerned about losing the friendship seems to be a bigger block for them than it is for you. Wow. So, for those of you with Leo rising, next, new love. So we have, oh crap. We have the Fool reversed, and then we do have the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck with the King of Wands. That's interesting. So I actually feel here that there's someone that you are quite attracted to. And I actually feel that there's like a third party, not that kind of a third party, just a third person that you're attracted to. And I feel like this person next to you, they seem to feel like a real fool. It's almost like they may feel like they've been putting in time and energy and effort to kind of get a chance with you here. And I feel like it's almost like they feel they needed more time to cultivate the relationship to kind of, make their move sort of thing. It's like they would have done like a soft launch. I don't know how to say that, but it's like they kind of would have tested the waters by making a couple of comments here and there to see how you felt about them, because I actually feel like doesn't really feel like you're open to this person. I feel like you know that they're interested in you, but it's almost like from your perspective, what I'm hearing is it really isn't someone that you would want to, it's like you don't see them that way. I mean, it's almost like they seem to be someone that's a bit of a people pleaser. I feel like to a certain extent, it's like they seem to mold themselves into who they're around. And I feel like that it's just like for some reason it's made it so that you don't look at them through a romantic lens. There's your card. It feels like it would be easy to get into a relationship with this person. But it just feels like you may not really even notice that this person is interested because you're more focused on this other person that you're really physically attracted to. Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Sorry, with the Ten of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, look at this. Okay, anyway, I feel like this person may give you a little bit more time to see things clearly. It does feel like you, hold on for a second, I'm just going to feel into the card for a minute. I feel like you're going to have a choice. Do you want something that looks to be very passionate, that it's almost like, I feel like you might get a warning about this one that you're really physically attracted to. It's almost like they might be a bit of a heartbreaker, somebody that comes in and like will use people for what they want and then they're gone, you know what I mean? Or this person who actually feels like there's someone that you would be able to build with. I mean, obviously it feels like there is an opportunity for something real to be built between the two of you. It just feels like you're really resisting it. It's almost like you may kind of know that this person has a bit of interest in you, but you seem to be pushing it away. Hold on. It's almost like with this King of Wands here, I want to say it's like a look but don't touch sort of thing. I feel like almost, I mean, maybe it's even immediately that this person is, it's like there may be that attraction there, but I feel like you've been around people like that before and you can feel that like there's too much risk involved. And I feel like this person is someone that like the two of you, I can see them kind of putting their arm around you, or the two of you kind of sitting on the couch together watching a movie. It feels like the kind of energy that if you allow the feelings for this person to surface, it feels like all of a sudden, and it's not like, oh, it's been pulling you. It feels like you actually haven't felt that way about this person until there's like this juxtaposition. And it's almost like the way that this Fool reversed person talks about the King of Wands, it's almost like that's what makes you see not only how this Fool reversed person sees you, but also that they like really and truly and deeply, deeply care for you. At the end of the day, of course, Leo, it's up to you if you want a relationship with this person. I do feel that it's like, I almost want to say that there does need to be a natural progression. If you jump too quickly into something with this person, it's like if you don't allow those feelings to develop, I actually feel like you might end up breaking it off with them. So I think I'll leave it there, Leo. If this reading resonated, I hope that it was helpful and brought you some clarity. As always, I will have the mini love reads coming out on Sunday. And then next week will be a special Valentine's Day read, so please keep an eye out for that. And we'll see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.